Some Lamborghinis show up in a blaze of glory. This one rides in on a flatbed, leaking pride, potential, and what used to be oil. This is Project Toro Azzurro, a 1972 Lamborghini Jarama S with a front-mounted V12, 6 Weber carburetors, and a middle finger aimed squarely at Maranello. But forget the Mura and the Countach for a second. This was the Lamborghini for the grown man who wanted 12 cylinders, 4 seats, and 0 compromises or reliability. She's rare, she's weird, she's broken, and she's ours now. This is Yogi's Garage, and Project Toro Azzurro just entered the ring. Are you ready? Let's fix it. All right, we are underneath the Jarama here, and I tell you what, this is a much nicer place to be than on the 928, because this guy isn't leaking like crazy. But I just want to give you a chance to appreciate all of the cool things that were done to these kinds of cars back then. And keep in mind, these are handmade vehicles, right? These are not put on any type of assembly line. Lamborghini did about 40 of these a year, and it's pretty obvious, you know, it's pretty obvious that this thing was put together by masters, and it's pretty amazing that these are shaped pieces of metal here. These aren't molded plastic or pressed metal through some kind of press process. It's just straight up hammered metal into place. Man and steel, I think, is what they used to say. Again, this car is a 1972, so a lot of engineering and over-engineering went in because it was such a new technology and was way overkill. Yeah, so you can see this exhaust is already disconnected, so thank you very much. I appreciate it. Missing some hangers here as well. So I'm just doing So I'm basically doing a once-over on this car before I get started, right? I just want to get acquainted with it. I want to look it over, see where everything goes, see what's leaking, see what's not leaking, see what that is. That's cool right there. I mean, all of this here. And then, of course, there's some rust. Yes, it's not perfect. Again, 1972. Right there, we'll have to deal with that, or the owner will. And the frame itself is like, I don't know, welded steel, something you'd see on a building, like a girder style. It's not tubed, extruded aluminum or anything like that, like today's technology. Steering linkage is pretty mechanical. It's there. I don't believe there's any power steering assist on this. There is air conditioning in this car, so that's nice. A lot of times they'll put this kind of paint in high snow areas as an undercoating to keep it from rusting, but in honesty, if this is not a rust inhibitor and you're painting over rust, it's just gonna rust underneath. This right here, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like plastic. This is your tiny little gearbox right here. Now the owner did tell me that the front end has been customized. These are customized bumpers, but the previous owner deleted the droopy eyelid and went straight with round eyes, which I think look really, really good. And yes, this car has the dreaded knockoff wheels, which is never too fun to take off. And yeah, custom plate, because this car is going to be here a while. I want it to feel at home. All right, this thing's back on the ground, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a little intimidating dealing with a car like this. This 1972 Jarama S is pretty crazy for its time. It has the same engine as the Espada, the 3.9 liter V12 engine, but the S here produces 365 horsepower. But right now it's not producing anything because of a blown head gasket. And one of the key tells of a blown head gasket is when you pull this stick and the oil looks like that. Yeah, so we're gonna drain the oil on this car to absolutely confirm it. But we already know what the story is. We know what we gotta do, so.
We? Who's we? There is no we.
The underside looks like it's pretty easy to disassemble. Up here is really where the challenge is gonna be, and I think mainly because of just the intimidating amount of stuff up here. Case in point, like these 6 Weber carburetors. Yeah, that's right, 6 of them. This guy has 3 on each bank. So we gotta pull all of that off. Of course, the air intakes, all the wiring, the front radiator, anything that's gonna be in the way. And then of course, we'll have to pull the bonnet off of this thing completely and store it safely, because I'm gonna need full access to this. And the engine's coming this way, so it's gotta get out of here. Only about 150 of the 400 GT or Jarama S's, which you can see here, it says that, were ever produced. So this is a pretty rare car, and for obvious reasons, I need to take extra care of this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put hood bibs, of course, across this throughout the entire process, because we gotta show the respect that this car deserves. Anything that's made it this long should be respected. Yeah.
That's nice. You might want to write what number it is on the actual cap though.
Yeah.
Like 1, 2, 5, all the way around.
And is it single plug? Yeah, single plug. Okay. Okay, so I just want to kind of take this all in and get a game plan. So what I'm looking at here is one big engine, right? The engine truly starts from here, the front of the cam, all the way to the back, all right? Not that big of a deal, but it's just really long, right? There's 6 cylinders on each side, and I'm gonna have to start peeling some of this back so I can get access. This right here is not an oil pump. It is, well, this is a breather, but this black contraption back here or up here is the air conditioner. Like any of my other projects, like my 928 project is right here, right? All of the parts are here. The Jarama is gonna be here for now until we run out of space, and then we'll move it to a more permanent location. But this is where I'm gonna start putting all the things that I am gonna take off this car, starting with the ignition. So that's what we're gonna start with. So I'm gonna take Marshall's advice and mark up the distributor cap before I start pulling the ignition wires so that I know where it goes as well, even though the line kind of shows it here already. Seven. 6. Wow, check that out. These are some pretty awesome carburetors, man. Very cool. I'm pretty sure I can get that off by taking off the whole thing, but I'm gonna have to take those trumpets off, it looks like. The horns, to get access to the bolts. All right. How cool is this, right? So I give it a little twist, and when you do that, the little brackets will stay on the studs. They'll kind of twist out of the way. Well, at least the lower one will, and then the upper one will kind of come with it. And when I'm talking about it, and it's not even really a bracket, it's like a hold down. Yeah, so this right here, right? It sits on the stud and pushes up against the filter cover and holds everything in place, but it also holds down the trumpet as well. Boom, just like that. And do the same thing for the rest. And yes, I am staying organized here, right? So I got my driver's side, and I got my passenger side. And then when I'll move this all over, ooh. Whoo, I smell turpentine. When I'm done here, I'm just gonna pile it all up in a box and move it off. So this is just for show. Just kidding. No, this is how you really do it. Easy peasy. This right here is like 7-8 pounds, man. Carbon fiber, anybody? Now you're starting to get an idea of what the engine looks like, minus all of the intake stuff. What I do know is that it's always a good idea to put all your nuts and bolts back if you can. You absolutely don't want to have to keep track of all of these. All right, this is going to be a spectacle, pretty sure. I'm going to put on additional safety glasses. All right, let's try this. Way more leverage. There we go. Ooh, that was really on there. Oh boy. Yeah, usually with the blown head gasket, you're going to see coolant first. It's not oil, that's for sure.
Oh my God. No way.
Yeah, that's not oil.
Can you take a picture from our end?
I'm videoing it.
This is not oil. Oh, shit.
Dude.
Oh my God, get a pan.
Here it comes, here it comes.
Come on, oil.
That's oil?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's oil in it, you can see it.
Oh.
Now it's a milkshake.
What is this? The transmission?
Yummy.
No, this is the oil pan. This is from a head gasket.
Holy.
Yo.
Forbidden slushy.
Forbidden milkshake.
Oh, that's nasty. Anybody got a camera here?
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
There's the oil.
There's the oil. Woo.
Is that the Ferrari?
Now it's the Rolls Royce.
That is a Hellcat. Yeah, you're right. I hope there's enough space in this. Was it empty?
Yeah, it was empty.
Good. That means the guys are doing it's definitely the Hellcat.
And this thing has 2 drain plugs. It's not on the other side.
This one is stripped.
Yeah. I know. I'll have the
I
rocket
wonder if
socket
for a
it.
front and a rear pan.
Yep. Holy cooly.
Holy smoke.
Well, that explains why there's no radiator or coolant in here.
Ugh.
So dead.
It is so thick.
I hope it finishes soon.
Yeah, this holds 5 gallons.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine already said it.
All right, let's put some brake cleaner. Let's see what comes out. Ew. These always tend to be really entertaining for people, so let's go ahead and do it. Please be empty. Please be empty. Please be empty. Okay, that's 2 of the same. That's weird. While that's going on, I'm just gonna zip these loose here. Get the headers disconnected from these pipes. And just slowly start undoing stuff. I'm really hoping there's not a whole lot of coolant in here. Otherwise, it's gonna get messy. Ugh. And there is, damn it. So one of the cool things about my job here is that I'm not always locked into one car. So I can let this thing just drip, drip, drip until it's completely empty while I go and work on another car, which is a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. So I don't know if you want to come along with me and check that out, but I'll bring you along. Come on. Ah, so many choices here. Which one do I want? Let's see. How about this Azzurro here with the same V12 that's in that Jarama that I'm working on, huh? Well, look at that beautiful thing. Nope, not that one. Not this one either. So many choices. Which one do I want? How about that one? That one looks good. SRT. What is the little code word? Code red or some shit? Red eye. That's what it is. All right. Yeah, look how much room I have now. Now I gotta figure out how to get that air conditioning system out of the way. I think it's those 4 bolts, even though there's only 2, 3. There should be a 4th one that goes in right there, but it's not happening. That way I can get this compressor out and down. I think I can get it down in here. And then get the other header and remove the back. Wow, okay, we're getting there. Oh my God, this thing's heavy. Look at this. It's a boy. It's a boy. It's a boy. Look at this freaking thing. This is 35, 40 pounds right here, dude. All right, not too bad. Everything I think is done except for the motor mounts on this thing. And there they are, right there. One there, one on the other side. I gotta disconnect the bell housing here. This is the itty bitty transmission like I showed you earlier. Zip, zap, zoop. Go at the top and start pulling it. There's a few other things I gotta do. Clearly that starter is a beast, man. And we got that out. Cleared it all out on this side. On the driver's side, it's pretty clear as well. One of the takeaways about dropping an engine from a 1972 is that there's not a whole lot of sensors on this car. It was mechanical. Everything on this car was mechanical ignition, mechanical this and that. So there's not a whole lot of sensors that we need to worry about. It's ready. I mean, I'm pretty surprised because the 928 took me a whole lot longer. But again, as I mentioned, when you're dealing with a really, really dirty car, it adds a ton of time. So if you guys have an engine project you're paying somebody to do and they want to charge you a lot, check to make sure your engine's not filthy, because I'll charge you more. All right, so we're into the car again, and I'm basically peeling back all the stuff that I think is going to interfere with the removal of this engine. So I removed the alternator, which was right there, which is interesting though, because when I loosened the accessory, oil came out of it, but oil's not supposed to go in there, so I don't know what the hell's going on. But this here looks like one of the RO reverse osmosis filters that you have in your homes, maybe under your sink. And I believe that is your oil filter. So that's an interesting thing there, but I'm gonna pull that filter and we're gonna take a look at what the fluid looks like in there. I know we know what's going on, it's a milkshake, but it's always fun to look at the filter. All right, let's do it. So if this is not the filter, then this is a reverse osmosis filter. So I'm pretty sure it's the other one. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty big mess right there. It's off. So I'm just gonna let it sit there and drain for a little bit, and we'll come back. Wow. That is messed up. That's just, there it goes, there it goes. Okay. Hey. Wow. That's a piece. Well, let's take a look at this filter. Yep. That is bad, 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 bad. But it can be saved. All right, let's go. Okay, so this thing is wedged in there. I don't know what the previous mechanic did, but they had to hammer it to get it in. And one of the bolts obviously didn't line up, but I'm having to use a pry bar just to get it to come free because it is really in there. I may need to use a longer pry bar. Dang, that is really in there. All right, you missed some excitement, but not much. Just took a lot of ugga-dugga to get that off, but I got it. It was really wedged in there, and see, now I'm using the bolts. This is what you want to do, right? You want to leave the bolt nuts in. You want to leave the nuts in so that once it finally breaks free, it doesn't go flying or hitting something and damaging it. So now that that's done, I should be able just to move this way and get it out of the way, and I might be able to get the alternator out now. Okay, yeah.
There you go. See, look, I had to be here.
You had to be here. Yeah, that's it. So at first I thought I was going to be able to get the engine out without taking the transmission out, but we're running into some obstacles here, like this oil pump housing. This is where the filter goes on, is just too big. So I started to zip off the crank pulley, but that is going to be more of a challenge and then a much bigger mess when I take that oil pump off. So I decided to go ahead and button the transmission back together and then just take it off all together as one power unit. So I've disconnected it from the prop shaft here. I've got the clutch slave cylinder, and honestly guys, modern engineers need to take note on how effing easy this was to get in and out. Let me see if I can focus right there. Yeah. So that's your plunger, and the rod stays in place for now. And then I just move that off to the side, and boom, no clutch slave cylinder in the way. So the last thing I need to do is pull the shifting linkage off of this thing, which it looks like it goes straight into the gearbox. There's no rods or anything like that. So I got to get into the engine or into the cabin, pull up the gear shifter and disconnect it. All right, fun times. All right, we're kind of in a precarious situation here. I've got the gearbox still attached, and I have to do it at this steep angle because of the shifter. The shifter has to be able to clear the inside here, and then it's got to clear down while we pull it out. But this is about as far as I could go right now until I get some help, and then we got to put this on a pallet. But at the same time, I think I'm gonna try to hoist it from here as well. Maybe put it up in here and hoist it. That way we can get it up a little bit higher. Let's see.
So what we may have to do is crank it up a little bit, grab the tail shaft and swing.
Yeah.
Do it just a touch more.
Yep. All right. Now, that's about as high that thing's gonna go. Let me see if I
if I put... Clear.
Now that's power.
Come down nice and easy.
Yep.
You got it?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Damn, this transmission's bigger than I thought. Woo!
It is.
Wow, you know, that wasn't too bad. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I pulled an engine on a Mercedes-Benz E430 wagon, a 1995, and I had to pull the transmission with it as well, and it was like that, where it was a very precarious angle. But this is what a 1972 engine bay looks like, and you can see the frame is almost like building girders or whatever you would see a building being made out of, with lips. Marshall called it C-channel. I call it I-beam. Either way, it needs a lot of cleaning here. So I'm really looking forward to taking care of that as well. I'm sure the owner is going to be really happy to have this engine out so I can replace the head gaskets, but not before we pull the heads and then make sure it is square, right? So I can put head gaskets on this thing all day long, but if the head is warped in any way, then it's pointless, right? So the first thing to do is to pull the heads off after I get the engine in time. Take the timing chains off, and then pull the head, and then put the head on a bench and run a precision square on it to give me a preliminary measurement. And I'll use little gapping tools to check and make sure that all of it is square, and if it's not, then we'll take it to plan B, which is to send it to a machinist to have it resolved. But step one is complete. Believe it or not, that was step one. Now what we want to do is put this car on display because it's such a beautiful automobile. So we're going to put the hood back on here in a little bit and wash it up and put it out on display. But that's where we're at right now. Yeah, so not bad. I think this is a great place to stop this first chapter of the video. Really cool. Sad to see an engine in this condition, but it's in good hands with Yogi. It's in good hands here at the shop club. So yeah, let's keep this going, man. Next week, I think I'll go back to the 928. We'll pull the engine on that one, and we'll have two classic engines side by side to work on. Sounds like a plan to me. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.